Hi guys, it's Danny. So today we're going to be answering a question sent by Aija, and I hope I pronounced it correctly. And he has a bunch of questions regarding orchid pots and how to choose the right pot for the orchid and how I make the holes in my pots and where do I purchase them and so on. So I'm just going to talk a little bit first about the appropriate sized pot for orchids and then what sort of pots I'm using and where I get them from. So to start off, usually most orchids would like to be slightly pot bound, and this is because the roots are actually going to cling to the sides of the pot. So you have to adapt your pots to the size of the orchid. If you have a mini phalaenopsis orchid, of course you're going to be using a small pot. If you have a normal phalaenopsis, you can go for a standard 12 or 13 centimeter pot or even bigger. Well, the main idea is for the orchid's roots to be completely in the pot but stay slightly snug. You don't want to pot a very small orchid into a big pot because it will spend its energy to fill this pot, to reach the sides of the pot and swirl around them. It might not bloom, it might not do so great. So usually I tend to go for pots that are that make the orchid's roots stay kind of snug inside. I also go for clear pots with any of my orchids. As long as you don't keep them in the sun, you're not going to fry the roots, obviously. If you fry the foliage, you will fry the roots as well. But for any type of orchid, I use clear plastic pots because I can just see what's going on in the pot. If I have a mold outbreak, if I have some infestation, if the roots are okay or if they're dying, anyway, it's just, especially for beginners, it's a very good idea to use clear plastic pots for as many orchids as you can. I didn't have any complaints from any of my fussy orchids like the Nelly Eiler or the Miltoniopsis, so they work just great. If you don't like to see the roots, you can put it in a decorative pot, provided that you do have a bigger size decorative pot so you let some air in and make the evaporation available. If you put them into a very snug decorative pot, it's really not going to be that okay for the orchid. So yeah. Now regarding the actual pots I'm using, well, in my country I don't really find specially made pots for orchids. I find something that can work. I find these sorts of pots, they're not ideal, they don't really have slits, so I have to make them on my own. And how I do it actually is use a heated nail. And you'll find in the description a sort of a tutorial. I just show you how I do it. But of course you can adapt it. You can use soldering irons, some people use it. Anyway, whatever works for you. I just do this with a heated nail. It's just how I'm used to. So yeah, but other than that, I don't really find any pots, and ordering them from eBay or Amazon, it's slightly costly. It's a bit pricey for what I would pay for a piece of plastic like this, so I don't go for that. But of course, you can try eBay and Amazon, and if you find something to your liking and you think the price is okay, and with all the shipping and everything, go for it if you cannot find anything else. If you don't want to buy from eBay, then there's a whole bunch of stuff you can actually use, and I like to be creative about my pots. So as you can see, this mini phalaenopsis is actually potted in a drinking glass that is made of plastic, and you can find these sorts of cups or jars in supermarkets, hypermarkets, whatever. They're really easy to find. And for small orchids, whether they're seedlings, whether they're just mini orchids, they work really great. You just have to make some holes to the bottom. It's very important to provide holes in the bottom, and if you want, you can make them on the sides. I do prefer orchids that have holes on the side of the pot as well. For a sort of a bigger size, an intermediate between the orchid size, the standard 12 centimeter size, I found this little fella. Now, this is a container in which I found some cherry tomatoes, and I enjoyed the tomatoes and kept the jar. And I can use it for slightly bigger orchids, or orchids who will produce more roots. Now I also use something that is kind of similar to the standard pot, and this is a pickle jar. Of course, again, you have to provide holes in the in the bottom of the pot for drainage. You can place side holes as well. So basically I use anything I can grab a hand on and I think can suit the orchids, can act as a pot. Now if you want to find these exact pots, I'm gonna tell you where I bought it from. If you're from Romania, go to Hornbach and you will find it. I didn't find anything smaller than this. This is actually a 13 centimeter pot. It's not quite 12, I measured it, it's 13. But anyway, the standard size is about 12 or 13. I didn't find anything smaller, but I guess you can find something else. They also have huge pots like this and even bigger than this. And I've also seen orchid pots without slits, of course, at growing.ro. So I'm going to share the link in the description. If you're from Romania and you're interested in this, you can place an order or check out their website. Again, if you like the price, if you think it's affordable, and if you would just pay that much for a piece of plastic. If you don't, yeah, just be creative. Anything can work as long as you provide drainage as best as you can. Also, because this doesn't really have that dent inside for ventilation, you can place some clay pallets to the bottom for more drainage and more air and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, that's the drawback with these sorts of glasses and everything. If it's a small glass, then it's fine. It's gonna dry up pretty fast, but if it's a big one, you might want to place a layer of clay pallets or something at the bottom. So, okay, yeah, that's about it on where I actually purchase my pots or what I use for orchid pots. I just try to be creative. So you ask, again, should they be higher than wide? Now, yeah, I do prefer to use higher pots than wide pots for one reason. If you notice, the orchid's roots tend to go to the sides and swirl around the sides. And if you go for a lower pot, which is wider but lower, they won't really have that much space. They would just go very fast to the bottom, and in the bottom usually the media can get quite moist, can stay too moist, and also the roots can come out of the holes here. They will come out eventually, but yeah, I do prefer the taller ones. And I don't know, I've never tried wide pots, short but wide. I've never tried it, but I do like these better. So I cannot say if they're better for orchids or not. I just like them better and think they're better. So, okay, hopefully I've answered your question. Thank you for sending in the question. And yeah, good luck, guys, with the orchid pots. Try to be creative if you don't have any other choice. If you don't want to spend too much, there's a lot of stuff you can improvise as well. So yeah, if you have any other questions, just pop them in a comment and I'll try to answer and show you and give you my personal opinion. And if you like what you see, you can subscribe to my channel. So I'll see you next time and have a great day. Bye!